Hey, it's Birdman hanging out here again at the Pinetop Coffee House and Roasting Company with Mr. Mike Moffenbauer. How are you, sir?
Good, Rob. How are you today?
Doing well. We're going to talk a little bit today about the extra stuff that goes in a shop. So it's good enough to have a product that's solid. You get a really good solid product.
Thank you.
But then you want to accentuate it, and you do that with merchandising and with extra product sales and things that brand or at least align with your brand.
Yeah, no question about it. You know, we do an entire line of merchandise that is all branded, T-shirts, baseball caps, hoodies, those types of things, as well as some unbranded merchandise that really helps enhance sales. Things like cups, French presses, coffee grinders, things that are add-on extra sales. Beyond that, it's some of the countertop stuff. It's, we carry some little candies, honey sticks, a number of other things that really help us, as well as food. We do very limited food, cinnamon rolls, cherry cinnamon rolls, empanadas, some oatmeal, peanut brittle. So we carry a lot of different stuff that are add-on countertop sales.
Yeah, but this all aligns with the core product, which is coffee, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And when we talk about coffee, some of the things that we work real hard on is with our staff is to make sure that they're well trained, they're aligned with what the mission of the business is, and that they're doing suggestive selling. So if somebody comes in, it might be something as small as an extra shot of espresso or extra syrup in their drink or whatever they want. The staff knows that we work hard to accommodate every customer that walks in the door. It makes them more resilient if somebody, has an issue with just not paying the base price or the core price for something. And beyond that, we've expanded our syrup lines. We probably have 40 or 50 syrups back there. We try to buy the highest quality syrups that we can buy. So all of those things, to your point, Rob, accentuate the core product that we're trying to sell, which is coffee.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about, there's other companies out there that sell coffee. We know who they are. And they've, over the last probably 5 to 6 years, have had to streamline because of the mass volume that they do,
right,
that they can't offer the customization that they used to offer. In fact, they used to have many, many different syrup lines, and they've really refined it down to...
They sure have.
They sell a syrup of the month, which they focus hardcore on, and then or the season, it's not usually a month, and then they have literally one they have one sugar-free option now, which is funny.
Again, my sugar-free list, people walk in my shop, I think there's about a dozen core flavors and about 5 or 6 other sugar-free flavors that we carry for like Italian sodas and things like that. And when people come in, one of the first things they look at if they're a sugar-free drinker is, wow, you guys have a lot of sugar-free options. You mentioned things like drink of the month or a specialty drink. We've got one drink that I put on the menu 5 years ago as a temporary item, and it's never left the menu because it's so popular.
Right.
We also do a drink of the month that we advertise in a local magazine here. So, making people aware of what you have, getting them in the door one time, we're very blessed that they almost always come back.
So talk about shirts. Shirts are a funny thing because everybody always wants shirts. And they're like, oh, well, and there's always a thing of, would you have this size? And shirts are hard.
They're this size or this color or this logo on the other color. So, they can find any way to make your life complicated. We carry a core, variety of products. And, if you look over at the shelves over there, I don't know, we probably have 6 or 7 different colors and 4 or 5 different logos across those shirts. And so most people can find, we even do a glow-in-the-dark shirt here. So that differentiates us from, I don't know anybody else who does a glow-in-the-dark shirt.
That's cool.
With mountains and adventure and coffee on it, right? So to your point, merchandise and shirts are really hard. My wife, Linda, is amazing. She's able to keep up with this miraculously amongst all the other things that we do to run this business. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah, but just be aware, like if you're another business out there and you're like, oh, I want to do shirts.
Yeah.
Mugs are easy.
Mugs are super easy.
But then they weren't, oh, do you have this color? Do you have a color with this and that color? Yeah, those things happen. But, and as are the tumblers and the things you have. But no, shirts can get, and do you get outside of large and extra large? Do you try to do the other sizes?
We go up to 2XL, 3XL, and as small as small. Small, medium, large, extra large.
Yeah, but even that's really fun.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Have to say nowadays you got to have a shirt vendor that you work with that's able to adapt for you, or to give you small quantities,
Yep.
right?
We're very blessed for that. We've got a vendor that we buy our shirts from directly, and then a different vendor that prints them for me locally here. So I have lots of shirts, and if I need something printed on short notice, I can get them done pretty darn quickly.
That's
and
awesome.
at an affordable price for my customers. Our shirts, I think our small shirts are like $22, and our large are $26 or $7 something. So there's not too many places you can go in a retail environment to find a $20 or $22 T-shirt.
Right. Yeah. And then, so you have merchandise that you deal with there. So you got a shirt vendor that you're buying shirts from. You've got, and we already talked about all the coffee stuff. So you got a shirt vendor. You got somebody that prints the shirt. Then you have branded tumblers, right?
Yeah.
So are you buying the tumblers and then having somebody?
That particular company, I have them print the tumblers when I buy them. I've found that it works out easier for me that way.
Okay. Same thing with the mugs.
Same thing with the mugs, and I buy those mugs in bulk. So I usually have a white mug up there too, but I have 5 different colors of mugs normally in the shop. So normally if somebody comes in, they like the mug, they'll be able to get the color they want.
Right. And those are the hard products.
Yeah.
Then you get the soft products or the food goods. And so you got refrigeration you got to deal with.
Yep.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, and you got to manage all of that. You got to manage ordering because we use local vendors to buy our products from. So we have one lady who makes our cinnamon rolls. We have a different person who makes our empanadas for us, and they're very, very popular. And we work closely with them to make sure that when we see inventory start to slip a little bit, that we make sure that we've got enough in here. And they're all very flexible with us. We're lucky for that.
Very good. And then the same thing with like the little candies and things like
Yeah.
that. Another vendor.
Same thing. That's a whole other vendor.
It's management of a whole bunch of, it's not a one-stop shop thing for you.
It is. No. There's no place that we get everything from. But, you have those types of products. And, I mentioned one of the things that I think is most important in being able to sell additional. One of the cool thing we have is we have a coffee fudge here. And our neighbor over at the Pinetop olive oil store, they're in the location right next to me, started making fudge a few months back.
Right.
And so we experimented with coming up with a coffee fudge. So this is kind of a cool transfer as well, where the coffee fudge is exclusive to my business. He carries about 10 or 12 different kinds at his store. So if people come in here and they see the fudge and they might not happen to be a coffee person, I send them next door. I send them next door anyway. And if people are over there, he always reminds them that, hey, if you like coffee and you want some coffee fudge, Mike sells it over at the shop next door. So another one of those unique local, connections that we've put together.
Very cool. Awesome. What else do you want to say about merchandising? Now, I noticed you've got a lot of signs in here.
Yes, yeah, because we have a lot of stuff.
Are those sold as well? Or
No, those signs are my wife's decorations,
Okay.
but we have people carry them up to the counter all the time. She puts on the back of them, property of Pinetop Coffee House, not for sale.
That's cute.
But the shop, it's one of the things aesthetically, you've been in my shop enough times, it's a very pleasing environment here. And we work hard to keep it that way. I'm going to shoot back to one thing I mentioned earlier is just, staff training and keeping them adept of everything that we're doing and trying to do. And they're all very conscientious, and they put forth 100% every day to make sure that if somebody has a question, if they don't know the answer, they know where to get it. So
very cool.
They're all good people, and we're very lucky to have the staff we have.
I've always said, with staff, and especially in a retail or food environment, I don't expect anybody to know the answer to everything. But if they're willing to get that, that's the key.
Yeah, that's absolutely a key. And, there's nothing that any of them really can't do here. So, when you can get people to that level, and again, to your point, we're still going to have questions.
Yeah.
I have questions every day.
Sure.
I have to go to Linda. Or she comes to me and says, Mike.
There you go.
It all works.
Awesome. Anything else?
Hey, I appreciate you coming in, Rob. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your time today.
You bet. And remember, you want to come hang out, spend a little time, see what's going on, come by the Pinetop Coffee House and Roasting Company. And thanks again to Mike Moffenbauer.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll see you soon.